son of Ahab, king of Israel, to war against. So here when we read all these things, there are two Ahaziahs being told in the same chapter. So let me make it more clear. If I am reading all these chapters, you might be confused, but I will show you few of those verses which will differentiate between Ahaziah 1 and Ahaziah 2. Ahaziah the son of Joram and Ahaziah the son of Jehoram. Okay? Let us go to 2 Kings chapter 9. 5th verse onwards I shall read. And when he arrived, there were the captains of the army sitting, and he said, I have a message for you, commander. Jehu said, for which one of us? And he said, for you, commander. Then he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head and said to him, thus says the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed you king over the people of the Lord, over Israel. You shall strike down the house of Ahab your master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord, at the hand of Jezebel. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab all the males in Israel, both bond and free. So from 5th verse until 8th verse in the chapter of 2 Kings 9th chapter. So we understand that God has sent a prophet to Jehu, whom the prophet anoints by the will of God, that this Jehu will finish or will cut off from all the males from the house of Ahab. This is the will of God. So this Jehu, according to the will of God, he goes to kill all the males in the family of Ahab. So we here, first we have to understand, thus in the hands of this Jehu, whom God has anointed to be the king of Israel, and to kill all the males in the house of Ahab, here Jehu kills both the Ahaziahs. Jehu kills the grandson of Ahab, and Jehu kills the grandson of Jehoshaphat. Both these grandsons' names are Ahaziah only. So we should not be confused. Let me show you the difference at again in many other places also. I'll show you how these two are different. Ahaziah, the son of Joram, who is 42 years old, he becomes in the 11th year of Joram as king of Israel. This is found in 2 Kings chapter 9, 27th and 29th verse. Let me read 2 Kings 9th chapter, 27th until 29th verse. But when Ahaziah, king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the road of Beth Haggai. So Jehu pursued him and had said, shoot him also in the chariot. And they shot him at the ascent of Gur, which is by Ibleam. Then he fled to Megiddo and died there. And his servants carried him in the chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in his tomb with his fathers in the city of David. In the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, Ahaziah had become the king over Judah. So in these verses, we read that Ahaziah became the king in the 11th year of Joram. In the 11th year, we should remember, who is this Ahaziah? This Ahaziah is the one who is the son of Joram, the grandson of Ahab. He became the king in the 11th year of Joram. And when did Ahaziah, the son of Athaliah, the grandson of Jehoshaphat, become king? Let us see that one. Let us go to 2nd Chronicles, 22nd chapter, 9th verse. Then he searched for Ahaziah, and they caught him. He was hiding in Samaria, and brought him to Jehu. When they had killed him, they buried him, because they said, he is the son of Jehoshaphat, who sought the Lord with all his heart. So here Jehu is killing another Ahaziah. This Ahaziah is the grandson of Jehoshaphat. That's why only this Jehu has some concern for him, and though he kills, he buries him. But whereas we see in Kings, 2nd Kings chapter 9, 29th verse, that Ahaziah is killed, he dies, he gets hurt, he runs away, and he stays in another place, and there he dies, and his servants bury him in the tombs of those kings. But to this Ahaziah, what happens is that this son, the son of Athaliah, is hiding in Samaria, and these people catch him. They look for him and they catch him and bring him to Jehu, and then Jehu kills him, and they also bury him. And this Ahaziah, he becomes in the 12th year of Joram, not in the 11th year. So when this Joram, let us see that also, that verse where it is. Let us go to 2nd Kings chapter 8, 25th verse. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. So Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king. In this verse, we are clearly seeing that in the 12th year, this Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, the son of Athaliah, became king when he was 22 years old. But another Ahaziah, he became the king when Jehoram in his 11th year. And that time, this person was 41 years. So only when in 22nd chapter of 2nd Chronicle we read that when this Ahaziah, the son of Athaliah, who is the grandson of Jehoshaphat, when he is becoming the king, before that Ahaziah was 42 years. In the second verse of 2nd Chronicle 22nd chapter and second verse is talking about the Ahaziah, who is the son of Joram, the grandson of Ahab. So when we come down and we read into all these chapters, we see that Jehu is killing two different Ahaziahs, and because these both Ahaziahs are cousins and they are mingling, and they because they are going along with Ahab's family, Jehoshaphat and Ahab, they come together in marriage by giving his daughter to Ahab's son, and so in later generations also, Ahaziah's sister is given to another people in Jehoshaphat's family, and so these people are intermingling and they are going together to war. And then Jehu, who is anointed by God to finish off the house of Ahab, he, in the course of finishing off the house of Ahab's all the people, when Ahab kills Ahaziah, the last person, the king in the house of Ahab, he is 42 years old. So by the time he time he is killed, he is 43 years old. So he he also ruled almost to 1 year only, but 1.5 year or so, like that, because he became in the 11th year of Joram, and this Ahaziah became the king at the 12th year of Joram. So both these Ahaziahs are killed by Jehu. So only here our Muslim brothers are getting confused, thinking that this Bible is talking about the same Ahaziah. But when you read why this Ahaziah in the Second Chronicles 22nd verse, Second Chronicles 22nd chapter, second verse, Ahaziah was 42 years old when he became king, it is written. This verse might be very much confusing to many, but let me tell you very clearly that before these verses, in the before chapter, in the last verses, it is told that Ahaziah's father, he became king at the age of 32, and he reigned for 8 years, which means 32 plus 8 is 40 years old. So he died when he was 40 years old. So how can he have a son who became king at 42 years? So they are not talking about uh, Ahaziah who became king at 22 years. But because in this chapter both Ahaziahs are killed, in this chapter, in the same chapter, you see that both Ahaziahs are killed. We see when we read from 7th verse, that is Second Chronicle 22nd chapter, 7th verse. I will read once again. See, his going to Joram was God's occasion for Ahaziah's downfall. So, who is this Ahaziah talking about? This Ahaziah is Jehoshaphat's grandson. For when he arrived, he went out with Jehoram against Jehu, the son of Joshi. This Jehoram is the son of Ahab only. Then who the Lord had anointed to cut off the house of Ahab. And it happened when Jehu was executing judgment on the house of Ahab and found the prince of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's brothers who served Ahaziah, that he killed them. Okay, up to here he killed Ahaziah's brothers, and even he killed in the king's second king's chapter. There it will be when he comes to kill these people, he will catch hold, he will chase Ahaziah and he will kill him there, and he will not kill him there, but when he shoots the arrow, he gets wounded, and that Ahaziah runs away and he hides in some place called Megiddo. It is in Second Kings 9th chapter 27 and 29th verse. We can read that this Ahaziah runs away to Megiddo, and there he stays, and eventually he dies there, and his servants bury him there. But after coming here, we read that they look for Ahaziah, they search him out, and they bring him to Jehu, and there he kills him and buries him. And this Ahaziah is the son of Jehoshaphat. So we see in this chapter that both Ahaziahs are getting killed. In this chapter we see. So we read in this same chapter, last line, you see in the 22nd chapter of Second Chronicle, we see last line. So the house of Ahaziah had no one to assume power over the kingdom. See, both Ahaziah here, this Ahaziah and that Ahaziah, see here why it is so confusing here. Why we are seeing that the writers of the Bible are so confusing for us. It is because anybody who is not having the zeal for the Lord, who is not having the zeal to know God and His Word, and those who do not trust will just fall like that. That's why only Jesus says, those who see, they don't see and they don't understand. Those who hear, they are not able to hear and they are just deaf because their hearts are hard. They are not trusting the Lord with wholehearted. That's why only if we love our Lord, if we love our God, the Creator, and we believe that His word is true, then everything He will reveal us, and very clearly He will reveal us. We have seen that Jehu uh, kills two Ahaziahs in two different styles and at two different places. At two Ahaziahs become kings at two different times. So, one Ahaziah is at 42 years old and another one is at 22 years old when Ahaziah becomes king. The younger Ahaziah, when he is 22 years old, he becomes king, and at the same time, Ahaziah, the elder one, is 42 years. So, Bible is very clear, and it is very, very clear to us upon understanding this truth. Otherwise, if this differences would have not been there, then we would have not studied these chapters with so much of zeal, with so much of interest, and we would have not gone through what is happening, where, what is happening. I have taken so much of time to understand these things, and I have understood how God is working through all these people and what He is trying to do, and how He is doing all these things, how His will is coming forward, and how beautifully God is doing all these things also we are understanding. That's why only we should fear the Lord. It is very easy. The devil can deceive us very easily. The things that God has kept in this world, those all are working for the good of those who love God and called according to His purposes. But at the same time, if we don't love our God, all things will work against us. So many Muslims brothers, they say that because of like these verses where there is no consistency and there is no truth, because of that only we are leaving the Bible and going to some other books, or we are believing in Quran because there is exactly the same things. See, if we want to go and really examine their books, then we can prove very much that how their book is only the knowledge of man, and it is not divinely uh, inspired. But the Bible is divinely inspired. If it was written in plain words, if it was so smoothly written, what was the need for us to sit for so many years? Even people at 100 years old also, when they read the Bible, they find it new because they come up with new understanding, because God has made the word so strong and so powerful that every time He through His word He fills us up with lot of joy and lot of strength and more belief in Him, and we get more faith in Him. After studying these chapters, I am just astonished at how God can use His word to strengthen His people and weaken those who are not in love with God, who are not seeking the Lord with their whole heart. So, this is a lesson. I hope that our Muslim brothers understand this truth, that there are two Ahaziahs about whom these verses are telling, and at the same point of time, it will confuse those who do not have the love for God,